So this guy was kicked out of his house at the age of 7, only to go on to become the greatest samurai of all time. Hi, this is Miyamoto Musashi, and it's the year 1584. He's just been born into a small village in rural Japan where his mom doesn't survive childbirth. But it's all good because his stepfather adopts him, and he's kind of a cool dude because, you know, he's a samurai and all. Except him and Musashi are constantly fighting. Like, they just don't get along. So much so that one night Musashi and his stepfather get into a big fight, and they're screaming and yelling at each other, but then his stepfather throws a knife at him and he dodges it unscathed, but his stepfather's still angry, so he kicks him out of the house. Now the thing is, Musashi's only 7 years old at the time, so I guess he's like, screw you, I'm gonna go live with my uncle. And he moves in with his uncle, who just so happens to be a Buddhist monk living in a temple, and his uncle teaches him how to read and write and meditate. But that's not enough for Musashi because his true passion is fighting. He doesn't want to be a monk, so he would sneak off to the woods and practice swordsmanship in private, hitting trees and bushes to develop his skills until one day, he's 13 years old. And he's walking through his village when he comes across a sign. And on that sign is a poster written by a passing warrior who's inviting people to come and fight him. So Musashi sees this and he's like, a fight? Ooh-hoo-hoo. Now, the passing warrior's a grown man, so when he hears a 13-year-old boy is coming to challenge him to a fight, he doesn't really take it all that seriously. I mean, he's a little boy. What's he gonna do? But that's a big mistake, because when the day finally comes for them to fight, Musashi pulls up with a wooden stick, and the warrior pulls out his blade. Cling, clang, clong, they start battling it out when all of a sudden, Musashi lands a hit on the warrior's head, knocking him unconscious. Now you would think, woohoo, he won the battle, now it's time to walk away. But that's not Musashi's style. As he runs up to the wandering warrior and BAM! Hit after hit after hit, he starts bashing his unconscious body with a wooden sword. Until eventually, he's no longer breathing. And as brutal as it is, Musashi's officially won his first battle. A few years go by and now bro's 16, and I guess he's looking for something a little crazier in his life because he finally meets back up with his father. You know, the same one who kicked him out when he was 7. And his dad's like, yo, we about to go wage war on some islands, you wanna come with? And I guess Musashi's like, okay. So he goes off with his dad to conquer some islands, catching all kinds of bodies along the way until eventually his dad's like, yo, I'm gonna go retire, peace out. And Musashi's like, okay, I guess I'll go do my own thing then. Then Musashi sat there and thought about it. What if I defeat the leader of the most prestigious clan in all of Japan that's reigned supreme for over a century? So without telling anyone, bro travels to Kyoto and busts through the door of the clan school demanding that they face him in battle. The leader of the clan's face lights up with excitement as he says, heck yeah, bro, I'm down for a fight. Just meet me at this temple. We could use wooden swords. And Musashi's like, aight. So they meet up at the temple and the whole clan's there watching like, ooh, this is about to be good. But then, before the leader of the clan's even ready to start the fight, blam! Without warning, Musashi rushes at him, hitting him with one fell strike, completely ending him, just like that. But then the leader's brother's like, yo, that was dirty. He wasn't even prepared. Now you about to fight me. And he charges at Musashi. But somehow Musashi wrestled the weapon out of his hand and bang! Hit after hit after hit, he smashed the brother's face in, defeating another warrior. This left the rest of the clan in shock. Like, how did this dude just defeat our top 2 guys so easily? And I guess, left with no other options, the clan devises a plan to end this once and for all. So they offer Musashi another challenge. Hey, do you want to defeat our new headmaster? He's like 12 years old. Oh, but you gotta do it in the woods, because yeah. And Musashi's like, okay, sure. So when the day came to fight the final fight, Musashi showed up early and hid in the tree. This is because he felt kinda like they were gonna pull something shady. But it's a good thing he did, because when the clan finally shows up, Musashi looks out and he can see that they brought a whole mob of people armed with weapons. They were gonna try and ambush him, but Musashi's not one to back down from a fight, so before the clan's even ready, Musashi rushes out of the bushes and strikes down the 12-year-old boy, then takes off running. And once again, he's defeated another opponent. At this point, Musashi feels great. Like, wow, I'm pretty good at this sword thing. I just single-handedly defeated the most prestigious clan in all of Japan. No big deal. He then went on to master the art of using 2 swords instead of 1, battling monks, samurai, and just all kinds of people along the way. He even earned himself the title, the Demon of the Western Provinces, which is kind of an awesome name. But all this success started to garner a lot of attention. So much so that one day Musashi gets an invitation to a duel. But this isn't just any invitation, it's from the greatest swordsman in the entire country, Sasaki Kojiro. But this doesn't scare Musashi, as he's already battle hardened. He's defeated so many people at this point, he feels unstoppable. So the date's set. On April 13th, 1612, on a small island named Funujima, they are going to fight. But Musashi realizes that this isn't going to be so easy. I mean, Kojiro is most likely the largest opponent he's ever faced, and he uses an even larger sword. Plus, he's known as the greatest swordsman alive. So he comes up with a plan. On the day of the duel, he waits until the sun is high in the sky. Then he gets on the boat to go to the island, but he tells the oarsman not to go to the island just yet. He then grabs one of the extra oars on the boat and starts carving it into the shape of a sword. As the sun's beginning to set, he tells the oarsman it's time to go to the island. Once he gets there, he sees Kojiro, who starts running up to the boat as Musashi's getting off. As he's running up, spit's dripping out of his mouth in anger because it took Musashi all day to get to the island. Then Kojiro looks at the wooden sword that Musashi carved, and he's like, "You think you gonna fight me with that? That's just a stick, boy." Kojiro then unsheathes his sword and throws the scabbard to the ground, ready to fight. Musashi then says, "You've already lost the fight. A samurai who throws his scabbard to the ground has no intentions of leaving alive." Then bam! Kojiro charges at Musashi and slashes the headband off his head. A close call. But remember, Musashi had a plan. He jumps back with the sun positioned behind him. He can visibly see Kojiro squinting because the sun's blinding his eyes. That's when Musashi sees his opening and runs in. Blam! He hits Kojiro over the head with the wooden paddle from the boat, ending him with one swift blow. This is the final battle that sets Musashi's name in the history books forever as the most famous samurai that ever lived. Also, fun fact, you can actually go to this island to this day and see a famous statue that was placed there to remember this strategic battle. But yeah, there's a lot more that happened. I just couldn't fit it all into this video. If I get enough likes on this one, I'll make another one. Bye-bye.